John Plumstead here with Bravo Company Digital. Today we're going to go over 3 B2B lead generation myths, and I'm going to do my best to debunk them. What we do is we work with home service companies, helping them to generate leads so the owners of the sales teams can go convert them into appointments and customers and sales and improve revenue. Here's a quick testimonial that I'm excited about that we just got today from a vending machine company. I reached out to John and Bravo Company as I was starting up a vending machine business. Onboarding with John and Adam was a simple process. My goal was to get 1 hotel apartment complex with a contract for a machine per month. I ended up getting 4 within the first week, and leads continue to come. Adam did a great job helping get the script to the point that the second I walked through the door, my customers were selling me to bring my services to their building. You can pause it and read the rest of it if you want, but anytime in this business, you get a good review or testimonial, I wanted to share. Okay, so here are the 3 myths. Cold calling is dead, email blasts don't work, and 1 channel is enough. Okay, so what do we think? Is cold calling dead? I think no, cold calling isn't dead. With most people, it was never alive. It can't be dead if it was never alive. Why do people think cold calling is dead? It's because cold calling is hard. You get in front of a phone, you go, okay, it's time to start cold calling. And your brain goes to these places where you come up with every excuse you can think of to not cold call. But I guarantee you it works. We do a lot of cold calls. We've done over 1 million cold calls within our company, and it works. So what are the variables that you're playing with here? Number 1 is your list. Who are you calling? Okay. We look at maybe data in 3 different ways. You have maybe the data that's already in your CRM, right? Like warm data. You used to do business with them. You've given them a proposal before. That's usually a pretty small number. So I wouldn't even call that cold calling. I would call that kind of like warm calling, but most people aren't even doing that. Then the next level, let's call it like a niche list that you are paying for. Okay, maybe you got this niche list through a Better Business Bureau or local, commerce group or something. Maybe you paid for it through something like Apollo Leads or Zoom Info. You can work that level as well. Or you go like, hey, we're going to blanket an area by scraping Google Maps, and we're going to hit every restaurant, every fitness center, something like that. So the first variable with cold calling is what list are you calling? We are a volume cold calling company, right? So we like to start broad. We generally start with Google Maps and work those Google Maps right from them. Then you have the script. I think a script matters, but I think even though that's what everyone wants to watch videos on is the script, I don't think the script matters nearly as much as people think. I think the biggest part for a script is if you're doing high volume cold calling, you want to get to your question right away. So lose the pleasantries, lose the small talk. Say, hey, this is John. I work with a local commercial cleaning company. I was wondering if I could come out next week and give you a free estimate. That's my preferred script, right? Like get to it right there, right after that. We can get into the dance and figure out where to go from there. But once you lock down your list, your script, then the only other variable, in my opinion, that you're playing with is volume. How many calls do you do? The problem right now is your average salesperson, someone that calls themselves a cold caller, that self-identifies as a cold caller. Many of these people are doing 25 cold calls a day, 30 cold calls a day. It's not enough. It's not nearly enough. In our company, we do 1,000 cold calls a week. It's a high volume process. If you're not able to do high volume cold calling, it might be dead for you. I don't know. I'm not saying cold calling is dead, but it might be dead for you if you can't do high volume. If you're doing 15, 20 cold calls a day, you're not really cold calling. You're, the volume just isn't there. Your conversion is not going to be good enough unless you have just this amazing list, which you probably don't. Okay. So boom, debunked. Next one, email blasts don't work. Email blasts do work. Okay. But very similar to cold calling, you're going to go through those same variables. What's your list? Okay. List is similar, except for with emails, you need a much larger list because your conversion is going to be even less with cold email than it is with cold calling. So you need a bigger list. And then, volume's the same, but script with cold email, you want it short to the point. So it's basically something like, dear business owner, many restaurants, or let's use a fact like something like opening line being many restaurant goers judge a restaurant by its cleanliness within the first 3 steps of walking in, or something like that. Like something that's like boom in your face, like this is important. Then the next line would be something that, builds credibility. Like we clean 74 restaurants in the tri-state area and are looking for 3 new restaurants to start working with. And the last line is a call to action that says too many people try to go from cold email right to the phone call. Like, hey, get on the phone with us. Hey, let's book an appointment. Most people aren't ready for that step. You got to come up with an intermediate step. So that call to action would be, let me know if you want me to send over our pricing information or something to that effect, right? So your actual email copy is important there. But again, I think too many people spending too much time worrying about email copy. Ultimately, you need high volume. The other thing with cold email is when in doubt, like make your email bold. People just get lost in email. So I think it's important to make those emails bold. Okay. So boom, debunked. All right. So one channel is enough. We're going to debunk that myth. I don't know. One channel is enough. Like I know I made this video, but one channel is enough. If you're really good at cold email, you're okay. If you're really good at cold calling, you're good. If you're really good at SEO, if you're really good at ads, you're good. Like one channel is enough if you want to be good. But if you're trying to be great, like let's go Jim Collins, right? From good to great. If you're trying to be great, I think you need more channels. But I like cold calling, cold emailing a lot, but those channels are very similar, right? They're both outbound channels. So to really think of a good to great scenario here, I would try to go, how can you have an outbound channel balanced with an inbound channel? Okay. So what I would say is like, hey, let's not balance cold calling with cold emailing, right? Although I love both of those, I would say, how can we balance short-term and long-term? Short-term being outbound, long-term being inbound. How can we balance outbound and inbound, or short-term, long-term? And I think the way to do that is by having an awesome website and then making sure that website is SEO'd, search engine optimized, and you continue to work on search engine optimization with that website. And the other thing you can do with inbound is social media marketing. The reach on a lot of business pages is weak, but you can do some guerrilla marketing type things where you're posting in local Facebook groups. You could look at that as kind of like a mix of inbound and outbound marketing, but I think that works really well. Okay. So to summarize, what am I here? 8 minutes in, doing good on my time today. Okay. 8 minutes in, cold calling is not dead. You just have to make sure you have a good script. You do a high enough volume, and you got to make sure you understand your list. Okay. If you're only doing 20 cold calls a day, you're not really cold calling. Okay. You gotta get those numbers up, bro. Email blast. Okay. I said script, high volume list. The thing I didn't talk about there that I should have is deliverability as well. A lot of people are trying to send cold emails and they're just not getting to the inbox, right? So there's a long process on how to get there. Smart Lead, smartlead.ai, I think it is. That's a program we use. They've got a ton of best practices. You just got to follow their best practices, and it goes up and down. But you got to make sure your deliverability is good there. We are, somewhere. A good day would be 1,000 emails for one lead. A bad day could be 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 emails for one lead. For cold calling, again, it depends on the list. A good day would be 100 to 1. A bad day would be 500 to 1. Okay, so just know those conversions. Okay. But email blast, that is not dead. You just got to do high volume. One channel is enough. I'm a little torn here, a little split, but you can use one channel. But I think as soon as you have the budget, you should think about how can I balance an inbound channel with an outbound channel, short-term, long-term, to make sure you're getting the best of both worlds. So in conclusion, outbound volume plus an inbound strategy can equal success. Again, I'm John Plumstead with Bravo Company Digital. Go to our website if you want to connect. Thanks.